you will remember this Super Bowl for what in particular?
Oh, great question. I think it depends a little bit on what happens moving forward, but a couple of things that jump out to me for sure. I do the Eagles preseason games and I do their pregame show. I think Jalen Hurts coming of age. If the one silver lining for very disappointed Eagles fans right now is that there was always kind of that question, Dan, like, can Hurts really do it? Like, can he really do it in a big playoff game against Josh Allen or Joe Burrow or Mahomes? Dan, he did it and then some. I mean, that might have been the best game I've seen him play, which, by the way, also makes it worse if you're an Eagles fan, that Hurts played the best game of his life and they still lost the game. But to throw for 300, some of the throws he made to Goddard, I mean, the throw he made to Quez Watkins, who didn't catch it when he was getting blasted on the blitz, incredible, the rushing. So even though they lost, I think the Hurts performance will resonate in the sense that we will look at them moving forward as a contender every year because Hurts can play at that level. And then, unfortunately, Dan, I think I'll probably remember the anticlimactic ending. I mean, we were about to have maybe the best Super Bowl ever, maybe one of the best finishes, maybe overtime. And it was a game-clinching ticky-tack hold. It's just very, very, very disappointing.
But I said that, will we remember the officiating? Will we remember the field itself? Now, obviously, you can say, will we remember what Mahomes did in the second half or Jalen Hurts? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can throw into the blender here. But, the officiating, as much as the commissioner wants to say was great this year, it wasn't great this year. And in the biggest moment, in the biggest game, it came down to, a questionable, do you call it then? Do you make that call?
Well, first of all, no. The answer is no. And I want to be very clear about this. That didn't cost the Eagles the game. The Chiefs still would have kicked the field goal. They would have gone up by 3 with 1:40 left or whatever. What it did was it cost all of us the opportunity to see how the rest of the game would have unfolded. Do the Eagles go down, score a touchdown, and win? Do they go down and get a field goal? We go to overtime. Do they not? Is Hurts not able to get it done? Or they get a field goal and then Mahomes has 28 seconds and he gets a field goal? It just didn't feel like, especially because the Chiefs were smart enough to not score after that. It just was like a game-clinching hold. And here's the issue I have with it. And I know your basketball background, Dan, and honestly, you're the guy I'll probably listen to the most when it comes to the NBA stuff. Here's the issue, and you'll appreciate this. In the first half, there was a third down where Bradberry was covering Juju, the same two guys. And Bradberry gave him a pretty good tug, pulled it, and then let go.
Yes.
They didn't call it.
Yeah.
And even Greg Olsen said, ooh, I don't know about that one. That should have been called. As a player, you talk about these things with the coaches on the sideline, and at halftime, you play the rest of the game based on the way the officials are calling it. This would be like an NBA game where every time you go to the lane, you get bodied and they don't call foul, don't call foul, don't call foul. And then with, the last possession of the game, they call a hand check, right?
Yeah.
Bradberry is playing the rest of that game based on the fact that they didn't call him for being more physical earlier. And then you call a much lesser transgression with less than 2 minutes. It just doesn't make sense. Number one, it's not consistent. And number two, the timing of it and the way it makes the players play, it's really problematic.